Yo fam, I'm the Giga Dad bringing you an assault rifle tier list for the brand new Modern Warfare 2. Sim.gg released datamined weapon stats for the TTKs on all the guns, and I had the opportunity to level up all of the assault rifles and use them extensively. So at this point I feel confident bringing you guys a tier list. If you don't know who I have the world highest win rate on the Fortune's Keep Warzone map, and I was the world first to 100 wins in a row on that map. So I'm fairly accomplished in Call of Duty, and I also do a lot of research to make sure that my builds and opinions on weapons are informed. Without further ado, let's get into the tier list. I figured it would make sense to start with just a gun that's like very reliable, versatile, competitive TTKs, very controllable recoil, and decent handling. And that's the M4. It should come as no surprise. Pretty much every Call of Duty game, the M4 is right in the thick of things, either a meta option or a very user-friendly, beginner-friendly option. And over on sim.gg, we're going to use a fairly forgiving combination shot, location, percentages, and they're able to spit out an average TTK using those percentages. And we'll just use the M4 as like our baseline for the average TTK. And then as we add other guns to the tier list, I'll compare it to the M4. And then at the end, we'll compare all of them. If you want to go on to sim.gg, I'll definitely leave a link to it in the description. And you can go and fine-tune these shot percentages. Like me personally, if I was just going off my own, I probably would have a higher headshot percentage, a higher chest shot percentage, because I'm confident in my accuracy. But I wanted to kind of just use like a very basic one that's more generalizable to the whole player base instead of just high skill players. And usually they're going to shake out about the same anyway, or at least how they compare to each other. If there's a few outliers, I'll try to show them to you. But anyway, so M4 for now is just going to be like a solid B tier. It's a really, really good gun. The only reason we're not going to place it higher just yet is because I think there's some options that are like legitimately broken, and we'll get into those. But first, we're going to start with an F tier gun, which is the M16. Burst guns are hard to balance in Call of Duty because if you can get a one burst off, they're like insanely broken. And usually, depending on the TTKs, if we're getting into 2, 3, obviously 4 bursts, it becomes horrible. It becomes less and less viable because you have a burst delay in between those bursts. And in the case of the M16 in this iteration, it's really inconsistent to try to one burst people. You basically have to hit all headshots. And with how low the bullet velocity is, the recoil is not as terrible as some people are saying if you build it right, but it's still pretty bad. So between whether you miss a shot or you accidentally hit them in the upper arm, a stomach, all of a sudden it's taking 2 bursts. Maybe you miss a bullet here or there. You're not able to get all 3 bullets in the burst on target. All of a sudden your TTKs are going to drop drastically. So if we look at an average TTK, and this is assuming you don't miss, it's somewhat comparable to the M4, but you've got to keep in mind if they're moving side to side with that low bullet velocity, you're probably not hitting all the shots. And if we get into like 3 burst territory, this TTK is going to shoot up drastically, and I can kind of show you that if we look at so if we look at headshots, you'll see you can kill in 74 milliseconds, which is just absurd. But the likelihood of you getting the all 3 bullets to the head, it's very low. And then, like if you were to hit, you know, this might represent if you were to like miss a shot, you're not gonna hit all foot shots. But if you were gonna get like even 2 headshots, but then you miss the 3rd in the burst, you know, all of a sudden your TTKs are really bad. So just that general inconsistency makes this an F tier gun for me. I really don't think it's even viable. You can still do well with it. I played Invasion and got 375 team score with it, 64 player kills. So like it just goes to show that if you're a good player, you can use shitty guns and still do well. But just with how inconsistent it is compared to these other options, which also kill some of them lightning fast, it's just not worth using. So let's move on to a D tier option, which is the Kastov 545. The problem with the Kastov 545 is that it's one of the laser beam options, but it has worse recoil than the other two laser beam options that we're going to get into. So for those reasons, I think it's just kind of a very average gun. Like I always tell people, the best gun is the one you hit your shots with. So if you like it more than the other two laser guns we're going to talk about, then you can use it. I really don't think there's much reason to use the laser beam guns anyway, though, because an option like the M4 is still really easy to control and just outright kills faster, which I'll show you. You just get better TTK. 26. Whoops, let's go down to average TTKs. Yeah, so all the way out to 26 meters, you're killing faster with the M4, which, I mean, that's basically every practical engagement in Modern Warfare 2 multiplayer. This gun might shoot up in viability in Warzone. We'll just have to see how it plays out. But it's just getting outclassed by the M4 at the important ranges without much recoil control benefit. So for those reasons, it's pretty much like a D tier gun. I mean, it's not, when you're getting your camos done for it or you're getting it leveled up, it's not going to be hard. Like you'll hit your shots with it, but it's like if someone else is shooting you back with a better option, you're going to lose the fight. But yeah, I mean the Lachmann 556, as we're going to see, has very similar TTKs to the Kastov 545. But in my opinion, it's just easier to control and has like a more forgiving fire rate. So, and we can even compare it to the Kastov. Yeah, so actually the Lachmann kills a little bit faster than the Kastov in the important ranges. So the Lachmann's really good. It might even be slept on a little bit. Like I know a lot of people I've seen in like CMGs, like pro players, tourneys, some of their main ARs are running the TAQ-56, the SCAR, but I don't know. We'll have to see. This rating I gave it isn't set in stone. We might even end up placing it ahead of the TAQ. But the Lachmann is a laser beam. It's got decent TTKs, still beat out by some other guns. Could be like a top contender in Warzone with just how easy it is to control. But at least in multiplayer, I tend to think you should be able to hit your shots even if the gun has a little bit higher recoil, just because the ranges that you're usually engaging in are pretty short compared to Warzone. So I mean, if you hit your shots with the M4 too, you're gonna kill faster than you can with the Lachmann. So I think it's pretty easy for me to say it's outclass. But yeah, with how forgiving the fire rate is, how easy it is to control, it's a pretty great option. It was definitely a pleasure to level. There was no struggle there. But yeah, let's throw up the last laser beam gun, which the reason why I was thinking B tier is because we see it so much in the early tourneys and CMG wagers and stuff from like the best of the best COD multiplayer guys. It's so easy to control, and it feels like it hits like a truck. But when you actually look at the TTKs, it gets beat out pretty hard by the Lachmann and especially the M4. So I think it might be one of those things that it feels better than it is. You get a 2-tap to the head with it, which is pretty nasty. So, you know, with that kind of in mind, practically speaking, you know, that might be why some of the best players in the world are gravitating to it over like a Lachmann. Like, yeah, so if you look at just only chest shots, like if someone manages to hit only the chest, I believe it's a 3-shot, you're getting a really fast TTK, even faster than the M4. And yeah, on headshots, let's see how much damage is it doing. Attack is doing, oh no, it's a 3-shot to the head. So you can get a 3-shot to the head or the chest with the TAQ, with the SCAR. I think if you're a really accurate player and you feel like you're going to hit all chest and headshots, this is a top tier option. If you're a little bit more of like an average player or you're still learning, I actually think the Lachmann is better. But we'll still give the TAQ the nod just because, like I said, some of the best players in the world are gravitating to it. And you know, they're not always right. Sometimes they whiff on things and they get caught up in hype or something. But like usually those guys are pretty good at like feeling out like what's strong. So and we're pretty conservative here, putting it B tier anyway. I definitely don't think it's better than the M4. Like the M4 just like generally is going to have better TTKs. I think B tier is like a solid spot for it. And let's move on to a gun I think a lot of people are sleeping on. This thing hits like an absolute truck. I can only put 6 guns up on, excuse me, 7 guns up on the gunsmith on sim.gg, so we'll swap out the M16 since it's a trash tier gun and throw on the Kastov, and then check out these TTKs. Absolutely nasty. That was just for chest. Okay, so if we compare it to the M4, it kills faster at every single range, and significantly so. Like this thing, it hits just as hard as the SCAR to the chest. It has more forgiving TTKs all over the rest of the body. The SCAR has easier recoil, so you know if you're lesser skilled, you're more likely to get that chest shot TTK. But it's like if you just aim center mass with this Kastov 7.62, it really doesn't matter too much where the bullets are going to go. You're going to kill faster than these other ARs. Picking people off head glitches is going to be a little bit tougher, so I could see how like at the highest level, if people are running like search and destroy wagers, CMGs, tourneys, they might gravitate more to like a little bit of a less bouncy option. But you try it for yourself. If you need help building it, swing by my live stream. I can help give you a good build for it. But I think it's easy to control. I think it's pretty much just as easy to control as these other options, and then you get rewarded with just a nasty TTK, like maybe even best in class for the ARs. So this is an A tier option for me, like no brainer. It's not broken. The TTKs are, you know, they're only like a little bit faster in the M4s, but they're enough better that and the recoil is not that much harder that I think it outclasses these other guns. So I think the Kastov 7.62 is like the dark horse, kind of the slept on gun so far early in the Modern Warfare 2 meta. Another gun which is not slept on, which is absolutely disgusting, is the Kastov 74U. It gets a little bit faster TTK even than the 7.62 option, out to 21 meters. It's kind of like a super submachine gun. Like it has really controllable recoil, faster handling than the other ARs in the class. Ridiculously fast TTK out to 21 meters. I mean, you'll have a few engagements if you were going to try to use this as like a main AR that would extend past it, so I wouldn't really recommend it for that. I'd probably recommend it more for like aggressive play. But then it's just, you're an aggressive player, like yeah, you're pushing into teams, you're flanking, you're getting behind people, like most of your engagements will be close, but you just have like more versatility. Like when we do a submachine gun tier list, you're going to see like they have a damage drop off like way earlier than this. So yeah, like they'll kill as fast, maybe handle a little bit faster even, but then they're not going to kill nearly this fast at like 15 meters. So it just gives you like much more versatility in your engagement ranges. I mean, you can't always control where you're fighting, so this gun is just really good. There's a reason why people are running it. It's crazy, crazy, crazy strong. And the final busted God tier gun. This thing has been GA'd, gentleman's agreement, and CMG wagers, tourneys. Like, people aren't even allowed to touch it in those just because it's so broken. And that's the STB-556. So if you're just running pubs, or if you're looking to level the gun before it gets nerfed, this would be a good time to do it because it's insanely broken. And I will show you why. We'll compare to the M4 for now. So this thing has very easy to control recoil. It's arguably even easier to control than the M4, and yet it kills significantly faster. Like, the difference between 179 and 221 milliseconds doesn't sound like much, but I mean, this is like, what, probably like a 30% difference? Maybe 20% difference. It kills really fast. It just rips people. High fire rate, easy to control recoil. Like, there's a reason why people are agreeing not to use it at the highest level. It's just broken right now. It's overtuned. They're gonna have to nerf it. Like, it even kills faster than the AK that we were talking about, the Kastov 7.62. So, and that's out to 15 meters, which, I mean, that's a lot of range. Like, that's good range, and it still has competitive TTKs past that. There's really no reason that it should kill this fast in the first damage drop off. Like, they're gonna have to tune that. Like, this is crazy. This is like faster than SMGs. Like, this is a lightning fast TTK. You just like delete people. And like I said, this is even with conservative shot location percentages. Like, if you're an accurate player, you can like delete people. Like, the other player doesn't even have time to react within this damage range. Like, this is a fast TTK COD, and this has the fastest TTK. So, and ARs are really strong in this game, just because movement's a little bit more punishing than it was in Modern Warfare 2019, as like a lot of like high-level players and demons and like movement guys are complaining about. So, like, it's gonna tilt the needle a little bit in favor of like ARs, long guns versus subs, right? So then, when ARs are already kind of strong in general, and then you have one AR that is just like overtuned and for no real reason gets faster TTKs than the other ones, it's just an impressive gun. It's broken right now. So that is definitely our God tier AR. So if you enjoyed the video, you like some of the info, you like I am giving you guys some data behind my experience with the guns. You like the ethos I bring with having the highest win rate in Warzone. Definitely like and subscribe for more. I like doing these tier lists. It's fun for me. So I'll definitely be doing SMGs, LMGs, snipers in the near future. I know you guys are probably going through mainly focused on camos or leveling the guns. Like, a lot of you probably aren't interested in like what's meta. But like, what makes sense to me is if you have limited time, go ahead and level and take advantage of the overpowered guns first, because they'll probably get nerfed, and some of the underpowered guns are going to get buffed. So then it might time well to where you get these bad boys gold, and then the M16 gets buffed, or the Kastov 545 gets buffed, and then you can start working on that one. Also, I do stream. I'll leave a link to my live stream on Twitch in the description. If you want to come discuss some of this stuff, or watch how I approach the game. I do have kind of a unique playstyle on my own. I also do a lot of father-son content with my kids, which is entertaining. Anyway, take care, guys. Thank you for your time. Peace.